Well, here's something really strange that's happening, and that is that we are under a winter storm warning, and it was very hot yesterday, around 88 degrees, and it felt hotter, like it was in the 90s. And I think it was prior days to that, in the 90s, and now we're under this winter storm warning. So the snow is already flying right now. It was raining earlier and just coming down as rain, because it was melting on the already warmed up pavement. But they're expecting at least 10 inches of snow in my area. The snow's already coming down behind me, and they're saying that we're going to get really heavy snow starting at 4 p.m. and that it could stack up. I've heard anywhere from 3 to 12 inches, so time will tell, I guess, and there's a freeze warning out for tonight. And the heavy snow is really supposed to start around 4 and go until tomorrow at noon. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Anyway, it's not really unusual. I mean, April and May are the snowiest months in Colorado. The heaviest spring snows come during these months, and then the last freeze date is around May 18th, so you can start growing a garden. But everybody's been at the garden center buying up their tomatoes and cucumbers and everything, so they better protect them for tonight. The other day when I posted that video to Rumble and not on YouTube, it was talking about how Joe Biden had created these amendments to put into place at the WHO to do away with the sovereignty of the United States as far as the medical health situation goes. And I posted that video over there to Rumble and not on YouTube, but you can go look at it, and my link is in the description box. But on top of that, Israel is now reporting that they're going to go along with what Joe Biden is going to do, and they're going to hand over their health sovereignty to this big health organization. So now Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz writes May 20th, 2022, that the Sanhedrin made a ruling that it's forbidden for Israel to sign the WHO resolution. So the Sanhedrin is now speaking out above and beyond what the Israeli government is trying to do to make the people in submission to the Gentile nations, just some really corrupt people that are trying to take control, as you know, of the worthless order. It says the Sanhedrin just released an official ruling on the upcoming vote by the World Health Organization on resolutions that will give them emergency powers over any country they choose. Now, these people were not elected into their positions by any of us. The World Health Assembly, WHA, the World Health Organization's governing legislative body, will be voting on Provisional Agenda Item 16.2 in Geneva on May 22nd. The agenda described by the WHO under the headline, Strengthening WHO Preparedness for and Response to Health Emergencies. The new agenda would give them the power to unilaterally declare a health emergency in any country, thereby giving them emergency powers. The Biden administration gave these proposed amendments to the WHO on January 18th. And by the way, that is so unconstitutional, it's not even funny. No one knew this until April 12th, less than a month ago. If passed, the resolutions will go into effect in November. So let's all get together and pray, shall we? That God would spare us from these tyrannical people. These amendments will empower WHO's Director General to declare health emergencies or crises in any nation and do so unilaterally and against the opposition of the target nation. The Director General will be able to declare these health crises based merely on his personal opinion or consideration that there is a potential or possible threat to other nations. These regulations are a binding instrument of international law. UN member states could be required by law to obey or acquiesce to them. Under the new regulations, WHO will not be required to consult with the identified nation beforehand to verify the event before taking action. This is just so unconstitutional. It's really treasonous to subject the United States to this. In a covert manner similar to what happened in the U.S., the Israeli government intends to support Provisional Agenda Item 16.2 as well. This week, the Sanhedrin released a ruling on the issue, and they said this: in the upcoming days, the State of Israel is going to sign on the resolutions pertaining to the handling of, I'll just call them demics, you know what I'm saying, by the WHO. By doing so, the State of Israel will effectively transfer all of its sovereignty pertaining to the health of the citizens of Israel at the time of an epidemic into the hands of a foreign body that is not Israel. And same with the United States. They're handing it over to a foreign body that's not of the United States of America or its Constitution and Bill of Rights. The WHO will set in an exclusive manner all of the rules of a demic breakout and will set the steps of all the participating nations in order to isolate the epidemic. This includes quarantines, lockdowns, mandatory V passports, and other steps. If a country refuses to take these steps, harsh sanctions will be implemented against that country. So this is really against our freedoms. And it's very disturbing and upsetting. This process absolutely goes against the basic principles of the State of Israel and the United States of America. The State of Israel is a Jewish state, a state of law, and a democratic state. If the State of Israel joins this global health organization, then they will be violating many of the laws of Israel. The laws of Israel state that harming or degrading the sovereignty of the state or its completeness is categorized as treason. Whoever intentionally demeans the sovereignty of the state or does any act that damages the sovereignty, the judgment is death or life imprisonment. Transferring, that's basically what, the results of treason are. That's the punishment. Transferring the sovereign rule of the State of Israel to a foreign body is illegal, and it's also illegal here. It endangers the citizens of Israel and the United States and is contrary to the laws of the State of Israel, including the basic laws of the government and of the Knesset. Jewish law expressly forbids handing a Jew over to non-Jews, even if the Jew is evil or a sinner. The ruling cited a verse in Jeremiah. Thus said Hashem, cursed is he who trusts in man, who makes mere flesh his strength, and turns his thoughts from Hashem. Jeremiah 17:5. The Sanhedrin goes on to say, by signing this resolution, the State of Israel is transferring their faith from God to this foreign organization. The process of transferring sovereignty and responsibility to a foreign power is contrary to all the rules of democracy. Who are the people ruling the WHO? Were they elected democratically? Are they the same people who required that countries mandate the V at the time it was already known that, I'm just going to say, Fisher and the WHO already knew that there were over 1,200 damaging side effects to the experimental mRNA. Figure it out. V. This is defrauding the public. Are these the people that led experiments on humans with this? In summary, the Bet Din has made a ruling according to Halakha that it is forbidden in the strictest terms for the government to sign this agreement and to transfer the sovereignty to a foreign power. Therefore, we rule that it is forbidden for any politician to sign this document. The Bet Din court rules that if there is a signing of the government of the sovereign to the WHO, this agreement is thereby null and void from the outset, and it is not worth the ink that it is written with. The following rabbis signed this ruling: Rabbi Yishai Bavad, Rabbi Meir Hakak Halevi, Rabbi Golan Cohen, Rabbi Edad Shmuli, Rabbi Aaron Yitzhak Stern, Rabbi Daniel Asori, Rabbi Yonatan Hahn, Rabbi Menachem Tobias, and Rabbi Aryeh Natel Lippo. This is one of the most dangerous things that's ever happened to our country and to Israel, to allow this foreign body to be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and nobody voted them in. And we are not subject to that either, because we are underneath the United States Constitution, and we are not subject to a foreign body. So I'm just presenting this. This is the facts according to what's happening in Israel. And I just wanted to let people know this was happening, and to please get down on your hands and knees and pray for all your worth, that God protects our sovereignty and the sovereignty of the state of Israel as well. Some people up there in Congress need to take action, and they need to do it quickly, and we need to be praying with all of our hearts and crying out to God. In Article 3, Section 3 of the United States Constitution, it states, "Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court." This wording in the Constitution stops Congress from expanding the definition of treason or lowering the standard of proof for prosecution. So this was just a news report. I wanted to let you know that this was happening May 22nd. I think they're meeting for several days in a row to vote these unconstitutional amendments that have nothing to do with the United States. I would like to ask Congress, why are you letting this man get away with everything that he's doing as far as damaging our country? So this is the greatest threat right now that we're facing, and we can't do anything about it. It's going to take an act of God, and let's put it in God's hands and ask Him for help. I just wanted to report on this and let you know this was happening. So thank you for watching and your support and everything. I'll talk to you later.